Make sense of the last couple of questions that have been asked. I don't know if I'm getting the intent of the question or not correctly, but I think the idea that we're trying to, that at least I'm coming to, is you said that, you know, in January everything's on the table and you send everything that you think should be in the budget. But if you look at past history, the first selectman and the Board of Finance traditionally do take money away. Is there an intent or a thought or a plan to proactively address that in a you know, thoughtful manner, to say, well, we know that, you know, a certain level of budgetary restraint is going to have to be necessary this year. So right off the bat, we're going to have to address areas that are going to have to be reduced? Or are you just going to throw it, you know, all out there as a status quo and let the voters take a hack at it?
If we throw it out there as a status quo, we would not increase our emphasis on voters.
But I think the reality is, in the current climate, you're going to be faced with a reduction. So is the reduction going to happen now, or is it going to happen later when, you know, the voters are, it seems to me like it perpetuates the whole problem that we have in this community, that, you know, they always throw out there this pie in the sky budget, and then it is our job as voters to vote it down so that they can finally be fiscally conservative. And I think the idea that I'm trying to get to is there a way that you could address that? No, you know that's the community we live in. You know that's what's going to happen. You know the first selectman is not going to give you more money. And the Board of Finance traditionally does not give money back. So if you know that's going to happen, I guess I'm confused as to why during your budget process you don't address that.
You want us to address what? What don't we need?
Yeah. I mean, I think the voters in this town tell you over and over, we think you don't need X, Y, or Z. I've been getting emails from people. I got an email yesterday. I vote down the budget every year. This is an email I got yesterday. I vote down the budget every single year because of that pre-first program. No other town has it. Surely it is a waste. Now, I know this program is valuable, but I know that there are a lot of people in the town of Monroe that don't understand why that is valuable.
You know what I would like? I would really like a running list. Start the running list. Send it to the superintendent, send it to the board.
But see, that's the thing. Like, every individual is going to have a great list. I know what's important to me. Over there, they have something that's important to them. Over there, that you don't have to convince us. We're here for that.
Okay.
But my
lengthy list, and the rumor mill, as you know, is wide and deep out here.
Yes.
You know, of things that supposedly exist in the schools that I know personally do not exist in the schools. But there are folks out there who will base their no vote on something they heard in Big Y that isn't true. And there's a lengthy list of those things, and there are some people who are just positive. Like the gentleman who came out to me last April and said, I can't vote yes because there's like 6 vice principals in that high school. And I said, what? And there was the gentleman who thought there's a coffee shop in the high school. You don't need a coffee shop. And he said it's called the cafeteria. I said we don't serve coffee in high school students. But there are people who go no because they believe these things.
I hear it over and over. We're administrator heavy. Our administrators get paid too much. What does a dean of students do? We don't need that. I mean, I hear it over and over and over. And that's the town we live in. It's history. You said yourself you've been here for 19 years. You know what this town is going to do. So I guess what I'm saying is, especially, we all know this is going to be a challenging year. It's not going to be easy for anybody, but to come out to the voters and say, I hear you. I'm not putting everything on the table this year, and it's difficult. And if they see that from you right off the bat, perhaps maybe they might be more willing to agree, wow, she's not kidding. There's stuff already gone. I think that's what everybody is trying to get to, that, you know, everybody just thinks, that's okay, I'll vote it down, they'll get it down to, you know, 4 or 3 or whatever, and all my stuff that I want will still be there. And this year, I think that the people in this room know it's not all going to be there. But the people in this town, a great many people in this town, do not understand why certain things are necessary. And other people understand it, but they're going to tell you, I really wish I could help you, but this year I simply cannot afford it. And I guess I'm just trying to find out what your plan is for that situation.
Our plan is to put a budget out there that supports the educational needs of the students in the system.
That's great, but the reality is when you put that budget out, the voters in this town will spit it back at you.
Well, let me jump in for a second, because I understand. I think the question is, I'm sure everyone in the Board of Education has a contingency in their mind of, what they might have to do when, assuming the budget gets cut or voted down. And I guess you must have that in mind, but I think what you're saying is you can't go out there with the cuts, preempt that situation.
Yeah, I can't speak for any other year, but last year when the Board of Ed presented their budget, on the very front page, whatever, was effectively a letter from the superintendent then, and it said, these are the things in the budget, and this is like, basically roll forward the past year budget, which was all your normal incremental increases that you have to do, be it salaries, be it insurance and all that, supplies, whatever. Then he had his wish list.
Don't call it a wish list. What a need.
Sorry, okay, not his need list.
Move forward.
And he basically broke it out, and if I remember, and I still have it at home, it was probably about 20 items, 15 to 20 items, and he put a dollar value next to each one. And that was call it his incremental increase, which was needed for education, but it was the increase on top of your roll forward, okay? So maybe the answer to your question then is that you take that incremental increase, which is needed for education, but it is not part of your roll forward, and you look at that list and you say, we really need this literacy person, or we really need 2 reading specialists, or whatever they are. Last year, I know there was a literacy, there was a reading specialist, the bio lab was on there, I think, for Massac.
You prioritize.
Sorry?
You prioritize it.
You prioritize the list, and I don't think the list was in a priority order for what I saw. Maybe it was for the Board of Ed, maybe it was also for the superintendent's office, but you take that list and you say, we really need items 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which comes up to, I don't know, pick a random number, $300,000. So on top of your roll forward budget, we really need $300,000 more than what we would, because we need to have this literacy specialist and these reading specialists in Chalk Hill and Jockey Hollow, for example, right? And that's how you do it. That's my own personal opinion, is you prioritize that incremental list, so I don't call it
Our roll
but
forward budget.
that's my guess.
Our roll forward budget, our roll